Hits per pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Coast, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the shine blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, you know what? Let's backtrack a little bit to 1995, right? Late 1995, let's say October, November, December, right? The infamous Tupac Shakur gets bailed out of jail, out of prison by Death Row Records, and Suge Knight and everybody, right? I think it was around the time, I think it was December where the single California Love dropped. It took everybody by storm. I dare say that song still is an anthem to this day. And there's more singles on that album, the infamous double album, Tupac, All Eyes on Me, double CD, right? Double album. However, had features from everybody and yada, 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 right? However, as I stated on this channel before, guys, it's gone into this thing of where a lot of rappers have what I call the Tupac Syndrome, where they believe that by going to jail, they somehow get this magical thing in them to come out and make the greatest album ever. I dare say that I have not seen another one since Tupac Shakur, for that matter, to go to prison, come out and do what he did. With that being said, guys, I've always said it before, Tupac Shakur was a very talented individual, right? And the people at Death Row Records were at the top, at the height of their career. So you get those two things and mesh them together, you got greatness, right? They captured lightning in a bottle, which has not been able to recapture again from any other rapper, for that matter, as far as within that situation. Fast forward today into today's world, guys. It's one thing to be in a recording studio, and whether it's in your friend's room, in your friend's garage, in a basement, wherever it may be, right? Or even a professional studio, right? You have all your homies with you. You're saying all this trash to, about such and such or whatever situation is, right? Been there, done that, right? But let me put it to you guys this way. It starts to feel, your yes men around you start to pump you up. Oh man, that sounded hard. Oh man, hey bro, yeah, and they start to pump you up a little bit, and you start to feel kind of untouchable, Again, I dare say the album All Eyes on Me had a lot of inspiration to a lot of people to this day, as far as tattoos. Tattoos back in the day were frowned upon. People would say, oh, don't get tattoos, that's for people who go to prison. People had sleeves and stuff on their, tattooed, and they were done little by little, right? Now you got, hey, full sleeve, hey, boom, 2-3 sessions, boom, you're done. Now you look like you've been getting tattooed forever. It's just a different time. With that also, guys, a lot of the newer generation, a lot of the younger generation, starting to tattoo their faces, trying to play the role of, doing all this other stuff and getting themselves in a, stuck between a rock and a hard place. And come to realize that it's not a game. You know, it's not a game. The whole gang thing, being incarcerated, there's certain rules you gotta oblige by. You gotta go by certain things, you know. Not to say, hey, you know, I'm in any of that. No, but common sense and looking at things will tell you that you have to run a certain way. Now, the younger generation's problem here, in my opinion, is they put themselves in those predicaments, and just because you got a couple of tattoos on your face, and you know you flash a couple of guns in the video, and you said a couple of, you know, pretty slick words on a record, does not make you gangster. You know, it's a real thing out here. You know what I mean? In the world, anywhere, wherever you may be at, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. You know, I'm not sure what happened to this guy, MoneySign Suede. I'm not here to talk about, you know, what I think may have happened. But I am here to say that it's a sad story because just being so naive into stuff. A lot of these kids do not know what they're getting themselves into. One thing is, again, to say something slick on a record, to be in a video, to tattoo your face. It sounds cool that when the people's around you, when they're around you, when you find yourself by yourself, surrounded by real gangsters, and you're told to do things or whatever, you find yourself here by yourself, right? You're not treated any different. You're a number just like anybody else. It becomes a hard situation. I think that a lot of these people today, and even back then in the 90s, guys, people would do things just to get that recognition. You know, going to prison was a goal. You know, getting incarcerated and coming out and feeling like, hey, you know what? Hey, people respect me now. I don't understand where that comes from. You know, so be it. To anybody else that feels that way, fine. But I will say this. It's unfortunate for those that don't come home. You know, because they're truly not knowledgeable of what the gang life or what the prison life is. You know, because they heard it on a record from somebody else. And then they decided to jump on that bandwagon and do the same thing. You know, sometimes it's like, hey man, if you have talent, you know, back in the day people rapped and did all this stuff, regardless of how the world looked at them, you rap to get out of the ghetto, to get out of the gang environment, to get out of that, and give a better life to your family, which a lot of rappers have succeeded to do, right? Now it seems like a lot of rappers, they get into the rap world and then they join a gang, you know, and then they find themselves incarcerated, and then you find yourself snitching or getting killed. Again, guys, tattoos, flashing guns on videos, saying slick stuff on records do not make you gangster. It is a lifestyle. It is a situation you do not want to be a part of. It's a complete different things, and it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Unfortunately, people lose lives. As in this situation that just happened to MoneySign Suede. There's no more to it, guys. It's unfortunate, but I did read that there was other situations that happened prior to this incident. So those are in a sense, those are warnings. and he should have stopped. You know, but I'm not here to call it. You know, I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to get into that. But unfortunately, his life was taken, and I think that a lot of people should, a lot of the younger generation should look at that situation. That it's real. It's real out here. It's real out here in the streets, in prison. It gets real. A complete different real than your homies in the studio or in the room or in the videos. It looks cool and everything. It's just like when you go see an action-packed movie, like say John Wick or something, right? You see him shooting up and doing all this stuff, shooting all these people and stuff, and yeah, it looks cool. In the real world, it doesn't work that way. I mean, John Wick's getting ran over. You know, he gets up and keeps fighting. I had a situation not that severe as John Wick, but here I am, guys. Right? This is the real world. It's the real world. Don't put yourself in those predicaments, guys. Stay out of that stuff, man. True talent, rap about something else, man. Don't put yourself in those predicaments. You don't have to tattoo your face. You don't have to portray an image. This is one of the things I've always had against it, even in my generation too. People go to the studio, oh, I need a bottle of Hennessy, I need a blunt, I need this and this and that to be in the studio. You know what, dude? You just saw that on MTV. You saw, you know, this rapper do that. You're following something that's them, dude. That's not you. Me, thankfully, that when I was doing that, no, dude, none of that. Like, you know, I would be around it, but it's not my thing. I was there to work. But it just seems like it's more of an image people try to portray now. Oh, I need to get this, and it's a certain brand of liquor, certain brand of, you know, whatever it may be. You know, what you do on your own time is one thing, you know what I mean? But a lot of people just do it just to follow a trend. You know, no pun intended. But it's just not cool, man. There's nothing wrong with being yourself. You know, I'm going to take it back that old school. There's nothing wrong with being yourself. You know? I never believed in that when these guys started doing all this stuff. Like, oh, yeah, look, I wake and bake, you know. People started doing that just because it sounds cool. Or I wake up and bake. And okay, cool, whatever, dude. Whatever. If that's what rocks your boat, cool. Fine. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but a lot of these dudes would not be doing none of this stuff if it wasn't a trend out there for them to follow. They wouldn't do it on their own, pick it up on their own. Okay, with that, this is Two Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, signing out.